In the cars, as the crews gathered at the start line, for Mr. Dakar, a last-minute change means he has a new co-driver, Paolo Fusa. I'm back into the unknown. I'm having to speak English. I've known Paolo Fusa for a while. I worked with him at Mini 6 or 7 years ago. He's a nice guy, but I don't know at all his qualities as a co-driver, so we'll find out now as we get started how it will go. But for sure, it's uncertain. So final prep for the crews, and reigning champion Nasser Al-Attiyah leads the charge into the stage. Fast start for Polish contender Pajonsky, who was in the top 3 for the first part of the stage, but a mechanical disaster after 140k, Kuba having to work on the Mini himself, and is still yet to finish the stage. Disaster. Now, the organisers have rewritten the rules for 2020, meaning the crews should find it much harder to navigate these stages. It seems to be working, as even local hero Yazid Al-Raji got lost, but he certainly found his speed again. In his third Dakar, Romain Dumas was hoping for a good result after finishing in the top 10 in 2017, but a fire in his new RD Unlimited car meant a very early exit for the Porsche Endurance legend. Another Le Mans winner faring better today. Fernando Alonso is safely through his first ever Dakar stage and in touch with the leaders in 11th. The navigational skills of co-driver Mark Comer clearly helping guide the Toyota safely through and helping change punctures too, a little different from a circuit pit stop, I guess. Sheikh Khalid Al-Qasimi was briefly leading the rally in his Peugeot, but towards the end he dropped back after rolling his car on the stage. Saying that he found the terrain very similar to the classic African stages, Nasser Al-Attiyah set off at an incredible pace, generating a good lead in the new evolution of last year's winning Toyota. However, in the second half of the stage, he picked up 3 punctures within 20 kilometers, dropping him down to 4th.
We change 3 rear tires every 2-3 kilometers, but I don't know what problems. This was not really a lot of stony, but maybe it's coming, from the shocks is a little bit hard,
Nasser's perennial rival, 2-time Dakar winner and double World Rally champion Carlos Sainz lost time looking for the hidden waypoint and picked up a puncture. Nonetheless, the Spanish legend crossed the finish line in 3rd. Thirteen times Dakar winner Stefan Petterhansel lost some time finding that waypoint too. But it seems getting used to a new co-driver giving English pace notes hasn't affected the legend too badly. Of the select group of competitors that have tackled Dakar in both Africa and South America, the variety of terrain shouldn't throw up too many surprises for the wily Frenchman. He was second quickest at the end of the day. But there's a surprise name written in the history books as the winner of Stage 1 in Saudi Arabia. The 2019 Lithuanian rally champion Vyacheslav Zala hoped to be competitive after 4 previous entries on the Dakar and a good finish last year. But for the 32-year-old, it must be a dream to open the 2020 edition with a stage win in his new Mini.
Fast, stony, then dunes, then stony again, then very fast. So the pace is varying a lot, up and down, up and down. So it's tricky to protect the car because you go in a fast section and then suddenly in the stones you need to slow down, otherwise you puncture. So it's a bumpy rhythm today, yeah. It's the first stage with this car and it's a totally different beast from what we had before. It's such a nice car.
With Zala's stage win, it's a Mini top 3 at the end of day 1, Bernhard ten Brinker in his Toyota making up the top 5. A few big names like Roma and De Villiers missing from the top 10. Good performances from Serradori and Terranova, plus good work from Vladimir Vasily back with Mini.
Well, over in the SSV class, there was a rough start for last year's runner-up Gerard Fares. The Spaniard struggling here with punctures. He's got a new teammate this year, fellow Spaniard Armand Monleon, who managed to recover and limit the damage to under 20 minutes. A very bad day though for five-time bikes champion Cyril Desprez. He and his co-driver Mike Horn, an explorer who was only rescued from the Arctic a month ago, lost over 50 minutes. Very much a baptism of fire following the ice. Running champion Chaleco Lopez has also had a couple of minor setbacks today, but the Chilean was fourth on the stage, only 6 minutes and 47 seconds off the pace. An impressive performance from Jose Antonio Hinojo, who's openly targeting the podium. The Spaniard, who was 8th last year, coming 3rd on the opener. Now, Casey Curry perhaps thought that he had done enough to claim victory on the day. The American coming along very nicely in his Monster Energy Can-Am. He is determined to fight for the overall win, but he was denied in the end by Aaron Domzala, the 30-year-old Pole who's been an up-and-coming name in the cars in recent years on the FIA circuit, making quite some debut here in the SSVs by taking victory. So here is how they lined up after stage 1. Domzala by 1 minute and 51 from Curry, and the former quads winner Sergei Karyakin rounding out the top 5.
Pit stop. Fernando, it's raining.
Dakar is the toughest and longest race in motorsport.
Traffic.
The challenge is already the maximum it can be.
1 hour to go. 1 hour to go.
For me it's even higher because I never did anything away from the asphalt.
After 2 Formula 1 titles and victories at Le Mans, Fernando Alonso takes on the Dakar.
Right now my full focus is on the Indy 500 and on Le Mans 24 hour, but long-term future you never know. I don't have the crystal ball now to know exactly what I will do, but yeah, it's nice to test different disciplines in motorsport and learn from all of them. If I tried something in cross country, I prefer to do the biggest challenge possible and hopefully the biggest reward possible. Memories from the past, I have few. I remember to see that car with the tire on top. I think I have that car in my home when I was a kid. I was playing with that car. I have no fears, I think, to be honest. I know the challenge in front of us. I respect the race. I'm willing to enjoy every second, every kilometer. I know that it's an adventure. It's a one in a life probably experience, and I'm trying to enjoy every kilometer. So the expectations are first to finish. I know that there are high percentage of retirements, and I don't want to be one of those if possible, and leave the experience from the beginning to the end.
Let's catch up with the beasts of the desert, the trucks. Having dominated the event in South America, Eduard Nikolaev hasn't had an easy introduction to Saudi Arabia, only 10th quickest, and legendary teammate Karganov was the early leader but fell away. The gaps are small in the biggest class. Less than 5 minutes off the lead in joint 4th is the Tatra of Martin Soltis' Czech crew, posting exactly the same time as countryman and rival Martin Maciek in the Iveco Beast. Kamaz's stalwart Dmitry Sotnikov guided the Russian truck to a 4th quickest time. Now, having stepped up to the Deroy team, Janus van Kasteren is only competing on his 3rd Dakar, but successfully through with the 3rd quickest time. The Belarusian driver Sergei Vyazovic has tasted the Dakar podium with a 2nd place in 2018 and was in contention last year. This crew is on a mission to get their first win. But today was a chance for Kamaz team player Anton Shibalov to shine on his return to the Dakar. Like many of the blue team, he served his apprenticeship under their legendary figurehead Vladimir Shagin. He and his crew led the rally at the end of day one, but the Russians' advantage is only 1 minute 33. There will certainly be a lot more drama tomorrow as the Dakar competitors head up to Neom in the northern part of Saudi Arabia, just by the Egyptian border. A stage made even tougher for the elite bikers, who will face a super marathon stage with no assistance allowed in the evening. And to add another roll of the dice, all competitors will only be given their roadbooks less than half an hour before the start of the special. It's a daunting prospect for everyone. Upsets are to be expected, both in terms of navigation and mechanical issues. All that in these spectacular landscapes. See you tomorrow as the Dakar 2020 continues.